In our AZ-900 course, one of the things you're going to need to understand is how to describe cloud computing. Well, cloud computing is the delivery of computing services, and that includes a lot of different things we call resources, such as servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, so many different things. And we call these things resources within the Azure environment. Now, you typically only pay for cloud services that you use, helping you to lower your operating costs. And you can run all your infrastructure in the cloud, you could run it on premises, or you can do what's called a hybrid type of configuration where they exist in both areas. Now let's take a look at what's called the shared responsibility model, and this is a big part of the AZ-900 examination. So here you see 4 different types of platforms. You see on-premises, infrastructure as a service, or IaaS, platform as a service, and software as a service. Don't worry if you don't totally understand these yet. I'm going to go over those in detail throughout this course. So what you're going to see is responsibility. Responsibility is a big part of understanding the AZ-900 exam. So if you're on premises, that means obviously you have total control over everything. Azure has control of nothing. So you're going to go ahead and take care of the information and data, the applications, the operating system, all those different kinds of things. Now, if you go ahead and say, use the Azure service for creating a virtual machine, that's going to be called infrastructure as a service. So Azure is going to take care of a few things. It's going to take care of the network. It's going to take care of the data center, which is a physical building. It's going to take care of the hosts themselves. But you're going to be in charge of everything else, the operating system, network controls, applications. You decide what goes on that server. The next step over is platform as a service. Now we have some shared responsibility, which is an important thing to understand. So as far as Azure is concerned, they're taking care of the operating system now and everything that goes beneath it. But you're going to have shared types of responsibilities. When it comes to network controls, basically Microsoft Azure is going to create the networking devices, the resources, such as the network interface card, the network security group, all these different things that you'll understand more of as we go along in this course. But you're going to be in charge of setting what IP address is going to be on there. They take care of the network card. You take care of what an IP address is set. Same thing with the applications. You can install the applications, but Microsoft can go ahead and make those applications available to you. And then identity and directory infrastructure as well. That basically allows you to go ahead and use accounts that you've created, which is directly above it, something you're responsible for. And when that account logs in to Azure, then they provide what's called identity services. They will authenticate the user for you. You put in the username and the password, and then Azure will say whether or not that's correct and allow you or block you from getting access. That's identity and directory infrastructure. It's shared. You created the users, you log in, they decide whether or not to allow you to get in if that information is correct or incorrect. So that gives you an idea of what the shared responsibility is, and it's a very important part, as I'd mentioned, of this exam. And then you have software as a service, which is where you do very little. You obviously are going to need to create things like accounts and devices and things like that. But if you're using something like Microsoft 365 Office applications, that's a great example of software as a service. They provide all the software. You install it, you go ahead and create the identities and license the users, but they provide all of the back office infrastructure to make those applications work. That's the shared responsibility model. Let's take a quick look at what the Azure portal looks like to give you an idea of how this all works. Here is the Azure portal. So when you log into the Azure portal, you're going to see various different Azure services. Now, you see there's no current resources. I'm going to be creating resources, showing you how to create resources, how to pick their correct options that make sense for your organization, and also help train you to understand how the AZ-900 exam can be passed. So I'm going to click on more services because this only gives me a few of the Azure services. If you take a look at more services, oh wow, we've got hundreds and hundreds of different services and resources that you can create, license, and use. Now, are all these important to you? No, they are not. Most of these services you will never use and are not going to be important to you as a sysadmin. That's because within all these services, you've got tools for DevOps types of employees, you've got services for programmers, database administrators, sysadmins, help desk, all different types of job titles. And some people have multiple different job titles depending on the size of their organization and the size of their IT team. So I'm just going to focus on things that once again help you pass the AZ-900 exam throughout this course. I'm going to do all different types of demonstrations that will help you with that end goal in mind. So this is the Azure portal. It's not the last time I'm going to show it. This is the first time. You're going to see a lot more of it, and you're going to see a lot of demonstrations coming up. You won't need to memorize every different type of Azure service that is available, but I will show you ones relevant for passing the AZ-900.